Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? I'm going to ask you to do something that's really hard, and that is to be both brutally honest with yourself and really, really compassionate with yourself. And that is not easy. But chances are, if you're watching this video, you have figured out that something is not right. Something in your life doesn't quite add up, or you've been doing the wrong thing. Maybe you've been doing the wrong thing for years. Maybe it's something really obvious, like addiction, in which case you need to stop. But like say you've gotten to that point where you're like, well, what the hell do I do now? And maybe you just followed the societal script and did everything you were supposed to do, but it's just not working out, or you just don't feel like you, or something feels incredibly off. I don't know what your particular situation is, but what I do know is that you feel like something's not right, something needs to change. I don't know what the hell to do, and maybe it's too late. And maybe you feel a lot of guilt and shame about being where you are. I don't know. It depends on the circumstances. But the things that all this have in common is, we end up feeling disillusioned. We end up feeling hopeless. We end up feeling a little embarrassed about where we are. We've, walked ourselves into this problem or minefield or where we are right now. We've had a hand in creating our own problems. And maybe it's just because we did things that were unwise, or maybe it's just because we went along with a system or a set of instructions that didn't feel right, but we questioned it and just did it anyway. And now we find ourselves here, wherever here is, in need of a change. And I'm here to tell you that I've been in those situations more than once. As I've shared on this channel, just a little under 13 years ago, I found myself there with active addiction and made a major change in my life. But then it was like, okay, I'm clean. Now what do I do? Because I'd been a long time, so I'd been using for 15 years at that point, pretty heavy. And then later on, and even recently, I've had those moments, those epiphanies, those awakenings. I start to realize, yeah, this part of my life isn't right. Or, yeah, I've known this for a long time, but I'm ready to do something about it. And that's crucial. Waking up is one thing. Keeping your eyes open is another. And then making that decision, I'm going to do something about this. And the temptation is to want to do everything all at once. What do I need to do? And I certainly felt like that in recovery. I was wondering, where's the switch or this button I need to pull or push in order to get this recovery thing that people are talking about, where I feel okay, where my life comes back together. And they said things like one day at a time, which made me really mad. And guess what? That was the truth. And that was the honest truth. And that's what we have to do in any area of our lives where we want to change something, is we need to start taking action, but we don't do it all at once. We do, what can I do today to get myself towards this goal, to get myself away from what I don't like, which is often what motivates us, and towards what I really want. And sometimes what you really want isn't clear. You just know it's anywhere but here. I just want to get away from this feeling, from this situation, from this job, from this relationship, from just feeling like crap about myself, from this hole I've dug myself into, or realizing like, hey, I've been working for 30 or 40 years for these other people that don't really care about me. Maybe they let you go. Maybe, you just had this epiphany. Oh my God, like I'm just doing all these things just to serve these people in power that don't care about me. You've done everything right for society and it's helped the people on top, but it really hasn't helped you that much. What do I do now? There's a temptation to think it's too late for me. At this point, I'm really old. I'm 57, or maybe you're 40, or maybe you're 60, or it doesn't really matter. We tell ourselves those lies all the time. It's too late. Yeah, you're not 20. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're not 20, you're not 18, you're not 30. But the thing is, I'm 57. In 10 years, unless I die, in 10 years, I'm going to be 67 no matter what I do. Whether I make changes in my life, whether I start to do something positive every day to change the areas of my life that I find unsatisfactory, or not. So in that case, why don't I do the things that produce that change in my life? And you know what? It's not going to be comfortable. It's not comfortable where you are right now, is it? It's not going to be comfortable. And it's not going to seem like you're getting anywhere. Very often, you just do the next right thing every day. You do something towards what you need to change every day. Some things are drastic, like stopping using, like getting out of a really bad relationship. Those things. There's things we have to do and be really decisive about them. But the majority of things that we do to create change in our lives, they're little steps. We're not doing everything all at once. And because of that, we don't see the results right away. but I can tell you they're coming. And I've had this happen to me over and over again, where I realize I don't feel like I've made any progress until I look backwards and realize just how much progress I've made. And I'm not going to tell you, I'm not a guru. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to solve this or that or the other problem. I'm not somebody to give you all the answers. There's plenty of people you can find on YouTube that'll give you that sort of advice. But a lot of it rings hollow, doesn't it? If you're an intellectual like me, if you're somebody that likes to think about things, if you're somebody that's a bit skeptical, you start to see through a lot of that stuff. You start to see through a lot of those formulas. What I can offer you, when we talk, is being a bit of a guide, or being a bit of a sounding board, or I've been through a lot of these things, or I've been through many changes in my life, and trust me, I'm my own guide sometimes, and sometimes I need somebody to give me the kick in the butt or a different perspective, because it's very hard to see clearly when you're right in the thick of things, when it's your problem, when it's your your issue, because you can tend to get a little bit myopic in that way. But what happens is, in the other areas where I've made significant changes in my life, I can apply that to the other changes in my life that I need to make, and realize that those same principles apply. But there's no easy answer. There's no easy formula. I can give people roadmaps, but I can't give them specific directions, because I don't know your particular problem. And even if I did, well, the way you're going to solve it is probably going to be unique to you, because you know what's going to be best or right for you. Maybe you don't know it all, but you'll figure it out. You have to trust your gut, not what other people tell you, not what society tells you, not what you think you should or ought to do based upon all the programming we received. And trust me, I don't believe, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe there's some big bad, people pulling all the strings saying, we're going to make all these people do this. Yeah, there's some bad people that exploit it. It's just the way that society has constructed itself at this point. All the messages we've been given by people that were well-meaning, that gave us the same messages. Okay, well now it's time to rewrite the script. Be your authentic self. Do what's right for you. Even if it feels uncomfortable. Even if it feels, a little bit, like you're doing the wrong thing, because you have that other voice telling you, maybe I shouldn't do this. That's one of our biggest things. Overcoming inertia is a huge, huge problem. And then dealing with that negative self-talk. That's a huge problem as well. It's a lot of BS. It's something that you have to be compassionate with yourself, because you've heard this stuff all your life. And so now you're trying to, deprogram yourself and do the things that are more authentically you, that might work better than following the bad scripts that you have followed, whether you wrote them or somebody else wrote them. But have a little compassion for yourself. You're only human, and it's going to take a while to get where you want to go. And it's okay to have made mistakes. It's okay to have made mistakes for years, as long as at this point you've started to wake up, keep your eyes open, and do something about it. Don't yell at yourself to do it. Don't self-flagellate and beat yourself and say, I need to do this, because that's just nonsense. But understand, this is something that you need to take a hard look at where you're at, wherever it is. Be committed to do something about it. If you need help, ask for help. There's lots of people available for that. And then start working towards it. And that will make all the difference. It is not too late. That's just a story we tell ourselves. And until we're dead, we're not done. There's still hope. There's still life. And that's just not a platitude, because I hate platitudes. It is something that I have experienced and realized that, it's the honest to God truth. Take it easy, kids.